Hello again, everyone. Got a new project we're going to get started on. This is in Montgomery Ward's Airline AM radio. This has AM and 2 shortwave bands on it. Model number is 62-147. And from what I can find out, early to mid 30s. Got a really neat looking dial on it, and the pointer's still there, so that's a good thing. Knobs are still there, but she's pretty rough. There's the side of the cabinet. See, the veneer is all separated right here, and we got a big chip gone here in the veneer. It's going to require a lot of cabinet work, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got to get the radio working first before we consider trying to do something to the cabinet. I do have a schematic on it. See, it says Montgomery Ward and Company, and there's a model. Pretty limited schematic. I don't think there's any voltage charts or anything, but hopefully we can figure it out. Has 1, 2, I think 5 tubes. Yes. Has an 80, a 42, a 75, and then a 6D6 and a 6F7. So 5 tubes. And here's the back of the radio. Pretty sure these are antenna wires here. Cord's still on it, AC cord. A nick or two in it, but it's there. Looks to be the original speaker, because their trademark name apparently was Opera Radio. And here on the side you'll see model 62147. So let me get the chassis pulled out and we'll put it on the bench and we'll inspect it a little closer and see what we got to work with. Maybe original screws. They look to be old. And this was laying underneath. I think that's Woolworth and Company. I don't think it has anything to do with this radio. It just happened to be underneath the chassis because Montgomery Ward sold these, so I wouldn't think Woolworth would, but maybe, not sure. Sure looks like a lot of original stuff. Not sure about that. That doesn't look right. But these paper caps, they don't look like they've been resoldered, so possibly original. This disc right here, big plastic disc, sits in a groove right there on the tuning control. And that's just a friction fit, I'm assuming. If that was straight, then that would turn this disc, which turns the tuning gain. A lot of work to do. Definitely need to do some cleaning on this before I attempt to check it out and work on it. Been sitting a long time. Speaker does plug in, and this speaker cone is in pretty bad shape, but possibly we could just patch that. Well, the speaker resistance checks okay, and because I have the PR57 Syncor, I'm going to do a power up and see if we get anything. Might get lucky. I'm at about 100 volts on this meter, and let's turn it on and see if anything happens. Well, drawing a little bit of current. It almost sounds like shortwave there. Well, I'm amazed we've got some sound. Alright, I took the pointer off. I don't want to damage it, so put it in a safe place. It's in pretty bad shape. Even cracked there in the middle. And the dial just has 4 little tabs that are bent over. So we'll get that off next. Well, we have 3 Ward's tubes. That's a Zenith tube. It's a 6F7. And a 6D6. I think that's a Union. Yeah, Union. Looks like it's had tape wrapped around it. The base must be loose. Look at the numbers on the tube sockets. Tells you what tube goes in what socket. So that's pretty neat. As I start to look this over, kind of get familiar with what's going on here. This big cardboard box thing looks like a box. That's a 2-section, no, 3-section filter cap. And the values are on the side. 4 mic at 300, 3 mic at 250, and 4 mic at 25. So if the tubes check okay, probably just replacing the filter caps and the paper caps may get this thing going. So tube testing's next. Our first tube's a number 80. So let's find our 80 over here. Well, fortunately on the Antique Radio forum online, some fellow went to a lot of trouble to put some voltage readings in here. So that's going to help out. I'm going to get started doing some troubleshooting, and I'll start in the power supply, and we'll see if these voltages are where they're supposed to be on the tubes. And hopefully that'll point us in the right direction and figure out what's going on. But thanks to the fellow who did this, it really helps out when you got folks that would take the time to write voltage readings down. It took several minutes for him to do that. Well, I think just a recap of this radio is going to take care of the problem. As I mentioned previously, this is a cap. It's like a 3-section. There's 2 4 mics, and I've replaced one of them. I just unhooked the one going to this, replaced it with this little small 4.7, and we're tuning channels. This cap is a replacement. It doesn't belong in this radio. I noticed these, where they'd soldered it to the chassis, was really messy looking, not like a factory solder job would look. So that's a replacement. This big square cap, this box here, actually has that section in it that's been cut out. And that's what this cut wire here is about. That originally went down to the rectifier tube. And the reason I determined that, if you look on the schematic, 119-11, which is a number on that cardboard box, is C14, 16, and 17. See 17, 16, and then 14 is right there. So that says 40 mic at 300 volts. So, well, I think it indeed is a 4 mic instead of a 40. I think that's a misprint. We're going to go with the 4 mic, like the cardboard sleeve as printed on the side. So we'll get rid of this thing and restuff that cardboard cap. Well, it's actually a 4 mic at 300, 3 mic at 250, and a 4 mic at 25. So there's our 3 caps ready to put in. I think this just unfolds like a cardboard box. It kind of looks like it. I think looks like a flap right on this end here. So we'll find out. Well, a lot of wax in there, so we're going to have to get the heat gun out. But it did open up kind of like a box. See the flaps there? Well, got it out. What a glob. And the first thing I'll have to do is glue this back, this mounting board. We'll glue it to the bottom. And I'll probably go ahead and glue the side here also. And I'll just mount the caps down inside. Run the wires out this hole right here. Alright, got her mounted back in, hooked up. Well, I didn't hook this up because I got to change that cap anyway. But I just have the wire tied around it to where they all connect right there. But let's turn it on and see what we get. Alright, we're still working, so I guess the next thing we'll do is start on these paper caps. Well, using the heat gun, I was able to get the inside out of the cap. I did have to peel back one end where it would slide out, so I think I can just push that back. It should look okay. Well, these new caps fit in the old sleeves pretty tight, so shouldn't be take too long to do these. I'm using hot glue. Got some brown hot glue. I'll seal the ends up. Pretty simple. Here's how I'm doing these paper caps that have the folded over end. Just taking a little pick, rolling it back, and then once we heat that, we'll pull it this way. It should come out, and there it is, and there's the old part. And I heated a little bit more and wiped off the outside. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks.